The shapely woman held a green scepter and corn in green sheaths. The thin blonde woman handed her the hair she had cut off the left side. A long-haired man came circling in with the wind on a sled, pulled by 2 dogs. He landed on the ground and was given 6 medallions by the full-figured woman. These were as the Goetia Sigillium for the period of Virgo are numbers 39 through 44. There was an orange one to renounce Malphas. There was a red one to renounce Raum. There were 2 rusty copper ones, one to renounce Bacalor and one to banish Vepar. There were 2 silver seals, one to exorcise Sabnock and another to renounce Shax. The man gave them to the thin blonde woman with the funny haircut. They watched the sun rise together in the darker third of the year. She handed the 6 seals that she wore back to him, and handed him his 4 elemental wands out from his cart. He went along in his journey with the 6 symbols of renunciation and his earth, air, fire, and water wands. He took on 12 different appearances on his journey. He came upon a maze lined with acacia beads that acacia, I think is how you say it, with acacia beads that were so large as to obscure the size and form of the maze. At the entry was a wand that seemed to symbolize both spirit active and spirit passive. He picked it up and traversed this classical labyrinth with the 4 and 3 pattern. He progressed up, down, up, down, up, down, and up into the center, where a silver crown was. It had 11 peaks, 10 curved dips, and 9 gold spheres embedded in it. He put it on. He felt like that a lot of striving was left to do, and it would be a struggle. He made his way out, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, and clockwise. I awoke for dawn prayers at 6:27 a.m. with my heart beating fast. Dream interpretation. The maze at the crown was as the 5 of wands with Corona Borealis, or the northern crown as the 3rd decan of Virgo. Its Saturnal symbolism is the austerity of the continued struggle. The near-at-hand austerity to observe was that of the 9th through the 11th of the first month of 1436, which is Muharram. Well, Muharram's the 10th, but adding a day before or after, or the Muslim Passover, with one or both of the days next to it. Okay, I jumped my gun and added commentary. These 3 days hold more merit for those who fast them than any of the first 11 months of the sacred year. Well, any of the days in the first 11 months. One sees this in the number of golden spears, curved silver dips, and silver points. Its mercurial symbolism is the strife that lies ahead. That acacia symbolizes the help and comfort that the constellation represents. The spirit active, spirit passive wand is the material actions, being joined with that of the spirit soul. The Venusian symbolism of Hercules as completion also sees itself in the 5th wand. A crown is both a symbol of liberty, by accomplishment and slavery to a role at the same time. Hercules, as the Four of Wands, has its jovial symbolism seen in the experience represented by the 12 different appearances. The earth, air, fire, and water wands are as completion for forming an elemental set of magical weapons. The 12 appearances are as the 12 hero deeds of Hercules in the myths. The presumed wife, giving back her talismans and aiding in him collecting his wands, is as being a part of his completion. Butes, our herdsman, is as the third decan of Virgo, and is the constellation of the Three of Wands. The dogs of his sled, our cart, are Canis Venati, are the greyhounds. They symbolize weather, as well as harmony and joy. Coma Berenices is as Bernice's hair, which, according to the myth, was for the return of her husband. Butes represents the husband, who is as Hercules. The virtue in his stay, and what was to come, is as the solar symbolism of Butes. The first decanta of Virgo sees its martial symbolism in what was attained by both him and his wife. These 6 symbols represent a means to combat evil and ignorance. Virgo, or the Virgin, is seen in the time of the year that they are in, and in the woman with the glowing dress. Its redness is as the fire energy to hold on to from the other 2/3 of the year. The Three of Wands is seen in the scepter, green corn ears, and the hair of the blonde woman. Her purity benefits both body and soul. The thin blonde woman must sacrifice for the sake of becoming as pure and virtuous as she needs to be. The peak and darkness is the state of loss she is in. The lack of reaction to her environment by her is how used to it she is. He was there to brighten her world, not just emotionally, but mentally and spiritually. And the workbook activities ECK Dream 1 Discourses by Harold Klemp has workbook activity 281. As usual, I cannot say that Eckankar Discourses have given me any insights. My dreams sometimes give me different ways of looking at the same things, or provide me something to enact, or otherwise share in life. The next page is the next workbook activity. I don't think I wonder too much what the importance of humility is in development. People need to focus on what they can continue or achieve, rather than merely glory over recollections of the past. Imagining you are talking about this or any other topic with someone doesn't mean that they will make themselves known as your inner master. Workbook activity 283 is on page 184 of ECK Dream 1 Discourses by Harold Klemp. My way of learning relates to Harold Klemp's dream before his second initiation, and the conversation with Paul Twitchell, because I, too, learned to look at things differently through dreams and discuss my dreams with others. I stepped upon the path of Eckankar to share upon good and consciousness with others, and do not believe that it teaches anything from any actual spiritual authority of its own. I can think of nothing about it that took a while to accept, aside from the fact that it was in my 12th year of hearing of Eckankar that I deemed that it might be worthwhile to be a member, as long as I didn't have to compromise with my beliefs to continue. The workbook activity is on the following page. As much as one can experience a slight wonder and be in a state of well-being at will, is as much as one can possibly experience when asking for it, unless God provides better out of his mercy to those who pray to him instead of some alleged Mahanta. Nothing unusual happened when I tried this without Eckankar misassociation, worshipping other than God. Although I do fully agree that people should ease into a spiritual life rather than try to become religious all at once. People should maybe start off with being observant of what they can do right away and add voluntary and recommended things that one can be constant about. The workbook activity 285 is on page 186 of the Extreme One Discourses by Harold Klemp. I think every spiritual person should have something they'd want to hand over to God. The Mahanta is not God, not part of God, not specially God-possessed, not the Holy Spirit, not an angel, nor what seems to be a purely spiritual or religious being. I therefore will not pretend to hand over my problems to him. I feel not as stressed about issues and more content with situations when I picture my role in them as in accord with the expression for God, are, light, and sound, as it is called in Eckankar. The next workbook activity is on the next page. I chose the story hinted at to be a claim that the person is not having the position they are qualified for. Is a lesson of debasement to the status that you think Harold Klemp or whoever runs Eckankar has set you up to be in. Is it really a loving lesson to try to push people down into a sociopathic state that they only acknowledge the ability that an organization uses of them and their position in a corporation? Should our sense of self-worth be reliant on more than one type of source? Workbook Activity 287 is on page 188 of the Extreme One Discourses by Harold Klemp. I don't like to daydream that I'm hanging out with old men at psychological projections of temples. Shouldn't actual metaphysical places not be dependent on the light we can personally picture? Shouldn't God's scriptures not be something with parts only for individuals? Although it may be best to live them in the way that would be best for each. When I'm absorbed in study of Al-Quran, or what remains of divine revelations and inspirations in scriptures before that, strange and blissful thoughts, sights, and feelings may come upon me. The final workbook activity is given in the last 3 pages of Lesson 8, How We Learn in the Dream State. My experiences since starting with the Alphabet of Eckankar game after dusk of Friday, October 3rd, 2014 are the 10th of the 12th month of 1435 haven't resulted in any remembered dream journeys. I don't think it is right to call anyone or anything a child of God. No Ek word, or at least no Ek word with meaning, or known use on Eckankar literature, has came to me of the letter or letters I couldn't think of a word for. Xenophobia and xylophone for X can both be said to be possible, but I can think of no official Eckankar words. X is actually, the letter X by itself is actually a word in Eckankar lingo. I found words that most outside of Eckankar wouldn't know, or at least one word that has a different meaning in Eckankar. Quiddity, or the essence of Ek, as sound current. The most interesting experiences so far include ECK dreams where words flew by so fast that I couldn't recall any of them, and one time waking up between dawn and sunrise, hearing Hugh, like the word Hugh. As far as I know, no Eckankar specific practice has given me any awareness of dreams or anything else. So remember to go Eck yourself.